Hello and welcome back to another video in our series of evaluation workshop videos looking at realist evaluation. So my name's Louis Ryan and I'm joined by Rowena and Hibah, both of the Active Essex evaluation team. And today we're going to be looking at developing some assumptions and beliefs. Now, today's session, we're very lucky because we've got a bit of an analogy that Rowena herself has come up with, part of her journey of learning realist evaluation. So I really encourage anyone that's listening or joining us on this journey to have a go and see if there's anything that works for them and share it back so that we can really find something and lots of different ways to explore what we're looking at and help people process and understand. So Rowena, if you're still there, it'd be great to have you come on and just have a chat and talk us through.
Yeah, of course. So on the left of the screen, you can see a purple elephant. In the middle, there are 4 black socks. And on the right, we've got a happy elephant wearing socks. Now, this metaphor, in the metaphor, the purple elephant represents the community of a local area, and the socks represent a project that was designed for that community. And the purple elephant on the right is happy because its socks fit perfectly. So in other words, the project that was designed for that community works very well for the community.
Awesome. And I think we see this quite often, projects that are put out for specific communities that people start to question, actually, can we roll this out nationally? Could we do this everywhere? And I think we're going to explore that a little bit more, right?
Right, yeah.
Awesome. So
but before we do that, sorry.
my apologies, you carry on.
Before we talk about scaling and replicating, which is sort of the next step of projects like the local delivery pilot, it's probably worth doing a quick recap of realist evaluation. So taking a realist approach to evaluation means that we go beyond looking at that happy elephant in its socks and ticking a box to say, great, that worked. What we want to do when we're taking a realist approach is to understand and explain what's really going on at a deeper level. So basically, we really want to understand the socks. And the technical term for this is understanding the program architecture. And what this means on a practical level is that we ask questions like, why does something work? How does it work? Who does it work for? And in what circumstances does it work? And we can ask these questions in a realist interview or in a less formal how and why conversation. And I'm sure there are other videos to come about those formats. But yeah, what we really want to do is to get close to an answer to the question, what is it about those socks that work so well for that elephant? Or in other words, what is it about that project that worked so well for that particular community?
Amazing. And Hibah, just want to get your thoughts. This elephant analogy, is it something that you resonate with that helps you to sort of almost visualize what this in almost a fun context as well?
Absolutely. I am a lover of analogies, and I think this the elephant analogy I think works really well to simplify what can be complex at times, especially with the people that we're talking to, and kind of just simplifying that and making it a bit more relatable.
Awesome. It's so good to hear that as well. And for anyone out there that's not an elephant lover like Rowena, there are other animals that you can choose to put socks on. I'm sure that will work just as well. So we had some ideas around what we might call developing assumptions and beliefs, and it's something that we're always almost wrestling with. Well, what does developing assumptions and beliefs mean? In short, what we'd like to think of it is, how is our program working? How is our way of working achieving what we want, so that we can break it down and say, you know what, is what we're doing what we think we're doing? And does it actually work the way we think we are working, or the project is working? But assumptions and beliefs is used, program theories is used, explanatory statements, and all of these are bit of a mouthful or can seem quite academic or not very accessible for people. So we've explored different ways and different words and had some feedback from different practitioners, volunteers as well from projects. And the word that we've kind of enjoyed using at the minute is ideas. So developing some ideas on how a project aims to work. So we've drawn some out here using if, then, because statements, and you'll see that if, then, because is capitalized. So if we ensure protected time for staff to work within the community, then projects will be community focused and community led because the community feel listened to and respected, which encourages them to share their ideas and what they need to become involved in projects. Now, when we go back to the elephant analogy, the socks that we might be given to the elephant within this would be the fact that the community feel listened to and respected. It might be that there's protected time, so that could be one of the socks as well. However, this is just one idea for one project. In another project, and for another elephant, it might be that they're a different size sock. So in our second example, we've added a couple in bold just to point out how it might work a little bit differently. So protected time and suitable financial resource. So we get similar outcomes, but there's actually different inputs going in. And we actually can see that this one has a slightly different focus on additional financial resource, then leads to financial resource to get these ideas off the ground as well. So this might be a different elephant with different socks. So they're both happy at the end. They both get their community-led program, but it's involving different resources and different input, different reasons, and for the things to happen ultimately. Now, Rowena, I'm gonna pass this back to you.
Thanks, Louis. So one way that we might use the outcomes of realist evaluation, so those refined theories or closer ideas that we've developed during the testing phase, is to inform scaling and replicating of a project to a new area. So it would be really brilliant if we could take a program that worked really well for one community and just roll it out into other areas. But as we know, this isn't always the best thing to do. For community-focused initiatives, as for socks, one size doesn't quite fit all. So those black socks that fit the purple elephant so well, they fit because they were designed for the elephant, as we've said, but they won't necessarily work for all elephants. So the socks might technically fit the orange elephant on this slide, but the orange elephant doesn't like them. The socks are far too big for the blue elephant, and the green elephant needs to walk on more difficult terrain than the purple elephant. So the same socks just aren't fit for purpose. They become threadbare really quickly for this elephant. So to sort of put this metaphor into a real context, what works for one community, say Basildon here in Essex, might not work for Colchester or Jaywick or Harwich for a whole host of reasons. But if we understand how and why a programme works in one place, if we understand those socks, we're better equipped to understand how and why it would or wouldn't work somewhere else.
Thank you so much for that, that great explanation to go along with these wonderful elephants. And I think when we reflect on developing these initial ideas of actually what socks do work or will work for these elephants, what project would work in Basildon, what is it about Basildon that might make it work or requires those additional inputs, it's really important that these are just ideas to begin with. So with many projects we'll go out, whether it's market research, whether it's speaking to the communities or community leaders. But one of the benefits of realist evaluation is we can use our own knowledge of the programs or of the communities and how they impact to help us form these ideas. So we know that this elephant's quite tall, quite large, they're going to need big socks. Now we haven't gone and tested it yet, but we're using an educated guess based on our knowledge for us to then go and test in the future to say, did that actually work? Now, Rowena, talk to us. What's going on here?
So basically just what you were saying. We can keep the idea of the original program that worked so well in one community. And if you click to the next slide for me, Louis. But we can adjust it to suit another community with different wants and needs. So you can see we've made slight changes. The socks are the same size because the community is the same size. It has other similarities, but we've changed the program slightly to suit this elephant better. And now the elephant's happy.
Amazing.
And if we go to the next slide, we can use what we knew about the original program, and how it and why it worked, and then tailor it to a smaller community, represented here by the smaller socks on the smaller elephant. Or we can expand upon the original program to better serve a community with greater need. So this green elephant still needs more than socks to get over that rough ground, so we can make him socks and shoes. And so just to sum up, realist evaluation is a powerful tool because it helps us to really understand what's going on beneath the surface. And a really popular diagram for this purpose is the iceberg. It helps us understand what makes something work or what factors cause something to be less successful for certain groups or in different areas. And it can also provide a really strong evidence base for future work, like, for example, the place-based expansion of initiatives that have been tested as part of Active Essex's local delivery pilot.
Incredible. Thank you very much for exploring your elephants with us, Rowena. It's been really helpful and really eye-opening. And Hibah, just to finish off, just have you got any concluding statements or thoughts on how this might help in terms of collecting data, developing some ideas about a program, or just even interviewing some participants about this?
I think for me, it helps me sort of think that maybe we should dig a little deeper, because a lot of the time when we're solely thinking of what works, it can be quite surface level because we're not looking deeper into the needs of a community. And this would help us sort of dig a little deeper when we're talking to community members, like, okay, what are you facing? What do you have? But also, what do you need? And just really focusing on that tailoring aspect, which Rowena was talking about. So I find it really useful.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I guess it helps us go back to that question that we ask in realist evaluation: what works for whom, in what circumstances, and why? So yeah, that's a really nice way to sum that up. So appreciate your time, guys, and thanks for anyone that's been watching.